Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new weekly video on this channel. If you're new here, I generally like to do design videos that can help you as a young designer to aspire in the new modern design world that we have. And this week we're going to do a different video, which is going to be me explaining some of the most beneficial books that I've read this year and some of the best design books I think can help you become a better designer today and for the future and whenever you want to read them. So these books aren't all about design and about actually designing in fonts and typography and the physical side of design. Sometimes some of the books I'm going to show are more about the backside of design, and so the psychology behind it, how we think about things and how we can actually develop to grow and to learn to actually think about the design process in a more impactful way to better help your clients or your users or whoever it is that you actually want to help out with your design. Each one of these books is going to be a little different, and I don't actually have them all in physical form here because two of them I actually read through Audible. If you don't know what Audible is, they're basically online books that you listen to instead of read them, and it can save you a lot of time if you just listen to them on the way to work or to university like I do, on the tube or on the bus or wherever you actually are. And so yeah, they just save you a lot of time wherever you are. And so yeah, as I already talked about it, some of these books are going to be more about the backside of things and maybe a little bit about management or about how to lead a design team or about how to think about design in a different way. Yeah, without further ado, let's get started on the first book, which is actually the book that made me finally start my YouTube channel, which is something I've wanted to do for a while, which is called The War of Art. Now, I first heard about this book when Joe Rogan was talking about it to one of his guests on his show. And basically, it's just a really good book to kind of break down the mental barriers that you have that limit you and don't allow you to kind of do whatever you actually want to do, whether that's finishing a painting that you want to do or starting a painting or writing a novel or something creative. That is what this book is about. For me, it was a really good book because it kind of made me realize some of the things that I was missing out on, and it kind of makes you peel back your brain a little bit and actually ask yourself, why are you really scared about these certain topics in your head, and who's actually pushing back, because there might actually be someone that you're thinking about that won't let you do these things, or maybe just subconsciously your ego won't let you. And it's honestly one of the few self-help books that I've read that kind of take a deeper dive into the psychology behind why I do things or why you shouldn't do things and why you don't actually want to do things, and who really is your biggest hater in your life, and that's actually yourself if you didn't know. But yeah, it's a pretty thin book and it's by Steven Pressfield, and it's a really good, great edition that I would suggest to add to your library. Now, the next book is called Sprint, and I know you've probably heard about this book. It's Sprint: How to Solve Big Problems and Test New Ideas in Just 5 Days by Jake Knapp. Now, this is the method that the guys at aj&smart run, and they're widely known for it. They get really expensive clients just by doing this method, which is something that people really value, which is solving problems in a fast way, which can greatly help the clients that you're doing this for. And it basically taught me the value that you can have as a designer, which is if you can solve a solution in less time, but you can charge more money for it, then it's a win-win situation for both people. Because at the end of the day, what the client wants is something done well that solves the problem that they have, and if they can do it in a fast manner, and if they have the budget for it, then most people wouldn't mind paying for the expensive version. That is something that I learned through Christo Ransigal and also reading this book. Now, it has a lot of gems hidden inside it. One of the best things is that it goes day by day. Actually, it does it right here in the cover. It goes day by day how you actually do these design sprints. Now, obviously, this is just an overview, and it goes in through a lot of depth into actually how to do these design sprints and how to do them with your client and how to actually perform them. But the basics are that you want to map it, you want to sketch it out, you want to decide who does what, you want to prototype it, and then you want to test it. And this method honestly has helped me a bunch with my design method. And recently I did a video on the design process, then what I use for everything, for all of my design process, whether I'm doing a logo or a website or a spread for uni or whatever it actually is. This is a really good method, which is design, analyze, and then iterate, and go through that whole cycle one more time, or a few more times. That's how many times you actually need to get the actual correct thing that you need to do. So yeah, basically in short, Design Sprint is a really good book because it will teach you how to move fast and move efficiently. Now, the next book is something a little bit different, which is a designer's research manual. Now, this book has been quintessential for me in my university days, even though I am still in third year university here in London. But this book basically shows you how to do research. And I know you think you know how to do research, but you don't know how to do research until you read this book, because this book goes over everything that you need to know about all the different types of methods of research, with primary, secondary, and it just tells you exactly what you need to know of how to do the specific types of research that you need. Now, this is the second edition of the book, and I haven't actually read the first, but this second edition will tell you exactly what you need to do for what type of research you need to do. And this is really good because sometimes you'll be doing research for a client or for a project, but the type of research that you're doing doesn't actually come to anything conclusive, and you've just wasted a whole lot of time. So if you skim through this book or you read through this book, you'll see that there's more than 25 proven research strategies and tactics, and obviously it has all the graphs and it shows you exactly how to do everything. And yeah, otherwise it is also just a really nice book to have and to look at, simply just because of the illustrations and the graphics that it has. So yeah, if you want to learn how to do research and you want to learn how to do it properly for your clients or for the projects that you're doing, whether you're doing graphic design or product design like I'm doing, whatever it is that you're doing, this is a really good research manual for design specifically. So the next two books I don't have with me in person, obviously, as I said, with the Audible section. The first book that I would recommend for you to read about actually design, which is kind of following it along this, which is actually more about design and less about psychology or anything like that, which is The Design of Everyday Things by Donald A. Norman. Now this is a really good book because it kind of shows you what human-centered design is and why it's so important in the world that we live in. Now in the book, it gives a few dramatic examples of how one of his friends got stuck between two glass doors because the design was so bad, because of the pull and push thing. I know you've probably heard of that, but it really is so much more than that. It's about how everyday objects become so easy to use if they're designed properly and if they're really thought out to the human experience, and how you actually grab things and hold things and how you actually use that object or that. Now this is a very product designy book and you may not like it. If you're doing graphic design or websites or type or anything like that, you may not think that it's completely necessary or useful to read, but let me tell you that it absolutely is, because although you are thinking about a cup or a door handle or something like that that you physically use, it gets you thinking about how your users digitally and visually experience the products and the experiences, essentially, because you are creating experiences. It makes you think about how they think about it when they're using it. It puts your eyes in the user's mindset, and this book kind of opens your eyes to that point of view, which is what it did for me, and it was super good to read, and it was not that long of a book either. So yeah, The Design of Everyday Things by Donald A. Norman is a super good book for design experience, and I think it is one of the best books for UX if you do want to get into that. And although as I said, it's not really specifically for graphic design or UI or anything like that, it does teach you how to get into the mind of your user. So yeah, really good book. I do really recommend it. Try it out. And for all these books, I'm gonna have them down in the description box so you can quickly check them out. And yes, there will be Amazon affiliate links. If you do use them, I will get a small percentage of that. So I do thank you. So the next book might not be exactly what you're thinking and what you might guess, but it is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, I've talked about this book before on my channel in one of my videos. I'm not really sure which one, but if you don't know what this book is, it's essentially one of the most important books that many presidents and extremely famous businessmen have read. And the reason why is because it teaches you, it's essentially a manual on how to deal with people in a businessy way and how to actually make them your friend before you sell them anything, or make them kind of trust you as a person and get to know you better. Now you may be asking yourself, why do I need to read this book if I'm just doing a design degree or I'm a graphic designer or anything like that? And the reason is because design is about people, essentially. It's about experiences that you create with people and how you can communicate your ideas with different people that you're talking to. So whether that's a client or a user or someone that you're just talking to about your product or your idea, it's extremely important for you to be able to get your point across. And this isn't really sort of a linguistics book. It's not something how to teach you how to speak or anything like that, but it's about how you can communicate your ideas in a friendly manner, in a professional manner. And if you don't really know exactly what I'm talking about, I have a few notes here from when I actually read the book or when I listened to the book, and these are the things that stick out most to me on how to actually win friends and influence people. 1 is become generally interested. 2, smile. 3, name is extremely important, and it just goes on from there. So you kind of get an idea of what the whole essence of the book is, which is to make the other person feel important so you can actually get to know them better. They get to lower their guard down. And honestly, this has been one of the most, I would say, important books that I've ever read in my life, and I probably will read more than once in the future. So yeah, those are 5 books that I think are extremely important to you as a designer and as a human being just dealing with people all the time, which is essentially what designers do. So if you did like this video, let me know down in the comments down below. If you want to take a look at any of the books that I mentioned, do check out the description, and of course I will own a small little percentage from that, so I do thank you. And yeah, overall, these are just books that just generally help me in my design practice and dealing with people, and less about the physical side of things, but more about how to actually talk to people and how to communicate my ideas better and become more professional in the way that I speak to clients and users, and just really get my point across in a better way. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, let me know down below. I can make a second version if you guys are interested, and if not, that's totally fine. I'll just wrap this one up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next weekly video that I make.